Hi there, guys. Welcome to Outdoors, Brews, and Barbecue. This is Carlos, your host. In today's episode here, we got a new special guest, but we do got two repeaters. I got Chris over to my left, who's coming back for his second episode.
Yeah.
Pyro's been here since episode 1.
What up?
And then our new visitor today over here to the far right is...
KC.
KC.
AKA Words.
Yeah.
All right, KC. Welcome to Outdoors, Brews, and Barbecue. Today's episode, we're going to be going into some traditional beers that you would go to for the 4th of July.
Nice.
All right. First beer that when I did put up the survey, the one beer that got the most amount of yes, you should have that beer was Yuengling. So I went ahead and brought Yuengling into today's episode.
Classic.
Classic beer. You always have a Yuengling in the summer.
Oldest American brewery.
Very
Oldest
true.
American brewery. That is a true fact. It's famous for its rich amber color, medium-bodied flavor, roasted caramel malt for subtle sweetness, and combination of clusters and cascade hops. This true original delivers a well-balanced taste with a very distinct character. Born from historic recipe that was resurrected during 1987, Yuengling's traditional lager is a true American classic. So let's go ahead and let's pop open a couple of Yuenglings here.
Yeah.
Let me
My
pass-
favorite part.
Let's pass these around. These are, you said twist
Yeah.
offs, right? Yeah, there you go. You can pass that down.
Nice, easy, and breezy, bro.
Simplest beer to open is when you can just twist it off with your fingers.
Indeed. Thank you, sir.
Yep.
Nothing fancy.
I don't need a fancy beer bottle opener. Open these.
Grazie.
Denaga.
Todo lo narga.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Let's see here. All right. Let's go into tasting this Yuengling. See what we got here.
We know what we got.
We know what we got.
Yeah,
This
let's
is
be
a
real.
traditional.
Yeah.
How many? Who in the hell hasn't tasted this beer?
You know, it's one of all the beers we have today.
So,
We've all had.
like, in your first drinking beer experience, like, Yuengling always has to be, like, one of the first, in my opinion.
I
Like,
mean, this was.
it's the bicycle one, right? It's just get on that bike.
This is like the bicycle with
It's,
training
I would
wheels.
even, yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Bicycle with training wheels.
Yeah.
Very fair. Very fair. Like,
So-
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I was saying, it's like when you go to the ale house for the first time and you're 21, they tell you, hey, it's...
Oh,
10
you go there before you're 21.
That's
Yeah.
true. You still get away.
Hey, the ale house is all ages.
That's true.
Ale House. I don't know, man. Last
Singer
time I went to
Mountain
Ale
Malt,
House, I
come
think
on.
I tasted like 10 beers in the first day I was there. I was like, I'm not tasting anything by beer 8 or 9.
So my first beer was probably the worst thing you could probably think of. Like the first legal beer that I ever had was a Bud Light, like which was basically like water.
Bud Light.
And the first time I went like this, and I took a sip of it, I'm like, what? This is water. This is horrible.
You know, I think that was a runner-up too for the beers people.
Thank God it wasn't. But still,
It was a runner-up for today's episode, as well as Budweiser was a runner-up for today's episode. They didn't make it to this room, but they were runner-ups.
I mean, if you think of 4th of July, like if the theme here is 4th of July, you're definitely going to want to think of the most American beer that you can find. Like, although where we live, you know, if you, depending on who you talk to, they're going to be like Corona, you know? So,
Yeah.
Or
Heineken.
Or Heine's.
Chinese.
That is true. Living in South Florida with a lot of Latin culture around us, we are surrounded by individuals who typically aim for those real light lagers. And those light lagers
say
are
like
typically
light.
imported lagers. They're not traditional American lagers, right?
True.
I like to joke around with Corona, calling it, you know, the piss in the bottle type beer. But it's a lager. One way or another, I can drink it. I'll drink it with you. By the time you're feeling happy, I'm on beer 18. I still feel neutral. I'll probably have already gone to take a piss at least twice. But, you know, it's a lager one way or another.
Talking about Corona. Marcelo, cheers.
Marcelito.
Marcelo.
Talking about
Cheers.
Corona.
Coronita.
On the chat,
This is my second. And if you're listening, you know what I'm talking about.
Who is He Hate Me 007? I want to know that.
Oh, Romy's up there too.
Oh, hey, Romy.
Romy's up there.
in the
Marcelo's
chat.
up there.
I love it.
Yeah, I don't know who Hate Me's 007 is.
I like it. I'm like, He Hate Me. Oh, that's the guy that used to be in the XFL. He Hate Me. There you go. That was his nickname. He Hate Me. But honestly, dude, like Boston Lager, not Boston Lager, Yingling. I'm sorry, Yingling. It's just literally a great starter beer. Like if you're a kid that's never had a beer before in his life, and this is your first step, I think it's a beautiful first step. And like it's a noble brewery. It has a great rich history, and they make a decent product. Right? It's not a beer that I think is too watered down. It's got nice body. It's smooth. Like it doesn't fight. You know, like you can drink 10 bottles of it and you can still be okay, and it's not overpowering. So for me, it's a great starter beer.
It's definitely a great starter beer. It's a smooth beer. I feel like I can actually have this beer pretty much with any sort of plate as far as food's involved, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, this I get. I'll go to like my local convenience store that's open 24 hours, grab one from the fridge and just take it home. Like a 6 or a 12-pack, depending on how I'm feeling.
This is a good one to just have a bunch of in your fridge for anyone that comes over, and you just need to give them a beer. I think it's a good one to have.
I don't think I've ever heard yuck Yingling.
No, and if somebody did do that, then honestly, like they either have a weird palate or they just flat out don't understand beer. But that's just me. You know, I'm gonna go ahead and say that, and that may be a little bit snooty, but it is what it is.
Oh, you so posh with your Yangling?
I don't know if anymore, but you used to not be able to get it out west, like in California.
Really? Yingling?
Yeah. Because one of my friends, Carlos, not this Carlos, another Carlos, when he moved to San Francisco, every time he would come back, that would be like the first thing that he would always get.
Okay.
And his girlfriend that was from San Francisco would always be like, I don't get your guys' obsession with this beer. Like, what is it? You're always drinking. And it's like, oh, it's just like our normal everyday beer. That's just what it is.
Well, if you really think about it, like California itself has a metric ton of microbreweries, right? So like they also have a lot more, how would I put it? Like it's a more ritzy culture. I think what's it called? What's the people, I can't find the word. It's, you know, the people, not I was thinking swingers. I'm like, it's not swingers. I don't know why that I don't know why that popped in my head.
Those are everywhere, Chris.
I know, yes,
Posh.
Posh, no, yeah, you know what?
Snooty?
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to use the word snooty. Is that like a lot of people that like, you know, just pretty much like micro beer, like micro brews and stuff like that. Like, yeah, bougie. There you go. You know what? There you go. Perfect. Bougie. There's a lot more bougie breweries out in California than there is here in Florida, right? So like here in Florida, we don't have as much because it's a big state, right? But California itself, there's a brewery on almost every city or town, right? That you go to. Now, if you want to talk about Miami, Miami, we've got like 7 or 8 major breweries, like pretty much that
it's
people
around
go
there.
to.
We've been exploring them all bit by bit, but we haven't struck them all. There's also small little microbreweries that we have come to discover that's out there too, and they're not open 7 days a week. They're only open certain days of the week. But we definitely have a couple of breweries here in Miami that we've been going through bit by bit.
Yeah.
I know last week we did Wynwood Brewing Co. The week before that we went through Uncharted.
Unbranded.
See,
Uncharted.
I'm already changing the name here.
Yeah, they gotta work on the branding.
My bad. Unbranded.
Yeah.
And then the week before that, we had gone through Vesasur. We had also done MIA Brewing Co. So there's a couple of breweries here in Miami that, you know, we're going through bit by bit, and they all have their unique style of beers, right? They all have a unique style of beer that they all represent. And then they try to fall into each one of the different families in beer selections. What are we looking at up there, Chris?
I think we got some random person or something, or somebody's just trolling us because somebody's asking me if I'm a Republican or Democrat, or asking us. And it's something about if she's drinking and gets pregnant. I'm like, I don't know who that is, but okay, cool.
All right.
I don't know why someone has to be at fault, but
I don't know. But yeah, I guess.
I can understand why he hates you.
Yes.
That name makes sense.
Okay.
We're going to start stabbing back like that? All right.
I don't know. Anyways, but yeah, Florida itself, ton of breweries to choose from, like especially like good quality like breweries. Oh, sorry.
Well, yeah, there's Once you get past Florida or Miami, there's Cigar City, which is
Cigar City is a classic. I've actually
Yeah,
been there.
huge.
The food's incredible.
Well, right outside Miami, not far out of Miami, you can go 40 minutes north of here, and you got Funky Buddha also.
True.
And
Yeah.
Funky Buddha has a decent selection of beers also, including Chris's special, which he loves so much. This remark is sarcastically, which is known as the Hop Gun IPA.
White guy is
Good.
funny. Yes, that I guess that would be me. Or no? Or wait,
No,
there's
I think
two.
that
White,
was
there's
me.
two. Well, I'm half white though. I'm only half. I'm half gringo. Half. No, I'm half hillbilly, half Cuban. So there you go. Anyways,
What do y'all call me? A Cuban redneck?
Yeah.
yeah,
the Cuban
bro,
redneck,
What we
I
call,
call you the Cuban bulldog, but
so honestly, like if the apocalypse happens, like you'll definitely be either a warlord or some sort of king for sure. But honestly, like we've talked about like Hop Gun, like what I have against it. I got nothing against Funky Buddha. Funky Buddha's a good brewery. It's just
They have pretty good beers. I ain't gonna lie. I like a lot of their beers. But I get your experience with Hop Gun. It's not a.
it was just off.
It's got a toppiness.
Yeah.
Let's put it that way. But jumping out of the beer topic for a second, jumping to this episode's version of the outdoors, I wanted to bring up a little bit of history with a little bit of another national park that we have within the U.S., right? Do any of you guys know when the 4th of July was officially declared?
1886.
1887,
Somewhere else.
Yeah.
something
No.
like that.
Damn, bro, y'all are off.
Damn,
by
I'm a
about 100
horrible
years.
American. I'm a horrible American.
Y'all are off for about 100 years, bro.
Oh, is it?
The separation
17.
of what we know
Yeah, I'm
as
like, wait,
America
wait,
today,
1776.
and Great Britain was in 1776.
There you go.
You see,
Yeah.
I did remember
You know,
history
you know,
class.
you know the only reason I
Yeah.
know it? The 76ers, the
The
Philadelphia,
76ers.
which is Yingling is from Philly.
Yingling is from Philly. That's a good point.
Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Now that you said 76ers, let's go back over here to the separation of the U.S. from Great Britain at that time was actually July 2nd of 1776. All right, so 2 days prior to the major celebration that we celebrate every year, which is July 4th. Now, the reason why the July 4th came into play is because that's when it was officially signed in Congress.
Correct.
All right, so July 4th of 1776 was when the Declaration of Independence officially became active. All right. And I'm ignoring those comments unless I find a name up there that I, recognize. We can forget about those. So in July 4th of 1776, when we had the Declaration of Independence officially signed up, it wasn't then until Colonel John Nixon read the declaration of the first printed copy in July 8th, right there in Philadelphia, if I'm not mistaken. And then relaying 4th of July as an overall celebration of what we do every year. Most of you guys have been up to D.C.
Yes.
I lived in south of D.C. for a while. And I remember going to D.C. all the time for the 4th of July. So thinking about the 4th of July and thinking about D.C., the part of D.C. that I wanted to bring into the podcast today was the National Mall. All right, the National Mall is in the heart of D.C. It goes from the east, where the Capitol is, to the west, all the way where the Potomac's at.
Yeah.
In between the Capitol and the Potomac, you have your Washington Monument. That is their highest peak in D.C. I believe I'm not mistaken. Washington Monument measures in at 555 feet tall.
Yes.
So all of the architectural structures that surround the monument remain below the 555. There's no architectural building there that surpasses the 555 feet. But as far as relating back to the National Mall has been a symbol of our nation's democratic values, which we inspired by the world's National Mall, the great swath of green in the middle of the capital city, stretching from the U.S. Capitol all the way down to the Potomac River, is premier civic and symbolic space of our nation, right? That's where you have your Lincoln Memorial, you have your World War II Memorial, if I'm not mistaken, you have the Washington Monument in the middle. You also have great museums that surround this National Mall. You also have the Lincoln Memorial at the other end. If I've already said that, guys, I'm sorry for the repetition.
No, you're good, dude.
In between those, you also have the Museum of Natural History, you have the National Archives Museum, you have the National Gallery of Art, you have the Air and Space Museum, which has some real nice stuff. If you're interested in aircrafts and spacecrafts, you can make your sci-fi fantasy a little reality.
Yeah,
We only need a little beer craft there, but
And hey, there are beer crafts there in DC also
Yes,
around
sir.
that area. But another place that relating to the outdoors part of this conversation is Botanical Gardens Museum. It's right to the left of the U.S. Capitol, and it takes you through different zones of what you can be in a desert environment, dry desert environment. You can be in a tropical rainforest. You can be in a garden full of flowers.
So it gives you the variety.
It gives you that variety, or you can be walking right near the death wrath of a flower that smells like ass. Yeah. But all of these selections are all within the Capitol Mall, right? And
Mhm.
all these are right there in the center heart of DC, where you also have your White House. You also have the Jefferson Memorial.
Mm-hmm.
And they're all within walking distance. Just get ready for a decent day's worth of hiking because they're distant. They're a decent distance from one another.
Yep.
I mean, I don't think it's humanly possible to do the
All
whole
that?
mall in
No,
one day.
Not at all.
I mean, you're talking about like at least in walking alone. Like I think the first time we went, we did. I think it was like 4 museums in one day, and literally we did
Bro,
it.
that's impressive.
I think it was like 20 something miles worth of walking we did.
I
and, like,
remember my father moved up to that area when I was 9 going into 10, and I would go up there, spend the summers up there before I actually moved up there. And I would remember when my aunt would come visit. She's an art teacher, or now retired art teacher, but she was an art teacher back then, and she would go through the art museums, and I would think that the day would never end. Because the darn art museum alone was worse than a field trip to a place you didn't want to go to as a child.
Yeah, dude.
And she was stuck in one room looking at one art piece for 45 minutes.
Well, like, have you ever noticed
Yeah.
that, like, when you go to like any of those museums, minus like the Air and Space Museum, stuff like that, there's benches everywhere for that one purpose, so people
yeah.
can sit there and observe and like interpret. Craziest thing I've ever seen was when we went last time. There was a girl literally just sitting there, and she looked like a college student, something like that. Maybe she was from Georgetown, something like that. But she was just there, and she was just writing notes and just looking at it. And I look over, and I think she's writing poetry because like it wasn't like phrased like full phrase sentences. It was just like it looked like inspiration, and it was an actual painting of Marie Antoinette. And I'm like, okay, so I guess maybe you're drawing inspiration from it, but that's literally the whole purpose is for you to draw inspiration of some kind from it. So, I mean, me personally, a painting's a painting, and yeah, it'll look beautiful, but I'm not gonna sit there and like get inspiration from it. But that's me.
I mean, now, as I'm not 12, I'm not 14, I'm not what I was when I remember that torturous experience from. I'm in my mid-30s, and I can sit there and look at an art piece for a few minutes and try to grasp the message that's hidden behind the art piece. But damn, bro, you think at 12 years old I wanted to sit there and just look at some drawing that's on the wall that looks like it's, older than my grandma? And, get bored out of my damn mind? Nah, man.
Don't.
They
I'll
got
already roll out.
Chuck E. Cheese in
Yeah.
the
They didn't have no
mall?
damn Chuck E. Cheese in the museum, bro.
Like that's like when like you go to Paris, if you go to the Louvre where the Mona Lisa is, I can promise you it is way more hype than it's worth, and it's tiny. It looks huge in the history books and it looks huge online. It's tiny as shit. Like it's basically the size of this like box, like half that box, not even. So and the line to get into it just to see it is like an hour and a half long just to get there. So trust me when I say some art is beautiful in this world where like it'll take your breath away looking at it. That, as beautiful and old as it is, not a big deal.
It was more about being out in the actual mall area of the National Mall.
Yeah.
I think for me, there was a whole lot of fun in the Natural History Museum that is still there. And that, to me, was more of my entertainment versus the Art Museum. Air and Space Museum, for sure. I would go to that anytime. Any summer, any trip up there, we stop at the Air and Space Museum.
Small footnote, it's actually closed for renovations and up until I believe November.
Isn't there's multiple buildings, right?
There's the main building. It's actually the main building is on the National Mall, but then at Dulles, is it Dulles?
There is
Washington Dulles. There's a smaller one that has more aircraft for you to see.
Yeah, I do remember because the only time I went to DC, I think I was 8, and I just remember being so excited to go to see the Washington Monument and going up it. For whatever reason, I thought it was so cool that I was like, oh, it's not a building, but it's so big and you can go to it. And go in it and go to the top. And we get there, it's closed.
Yeah.
For renovation.
Yep. That's like a typical thing. We have the same experience.
I've had that experience multiple times.
Yeah.
I like to try to get into the monument every time I'm up there. But when I think about, the National Mall and the monument, the best part out of that National Mall and the monument is that I can experience the fireworks that get shot right behind the actual monument. Right, so as we think about the 4th of July and you think about all the booms up in the sky, it's definitely a memory that stays in your head as you just stare at the National Monument and you watch as we celebrate the 4th of July and all the fireworks just go off into the sky. And their show is a decent show. It's 30 minutes plus.
I mean, it's the nation's capital, so for sure.
It is the nation's capital, so they're gonna let that thing shoot off for a good minute.
Damn right.
And then America. And then as you watch those fireworks go off, it's something you keep in your memory banks forever, right? But let's switch off here to another beer because I am ready for the 4th of July to shoot off already. This, got to celebrate America's birthday. It is next week. I myself was born 4 hours later.
Wait.
So I'm a July 5th baby.
Yeah.
And
wait,
I
your
am
birthday's
July
coming
6th.
up?
Yeah. And Casey over here is July 6th.
Oh, okay.
So I start my partying on July 4th. That's
Nice.
guaranteed.
Oh, hell yeah. Speaking of
I think
parties,
somebody
there we
started
go.
the party.
There we
now.
go.
Yeah, there we go.
As we celebrate July 4th, and we do celebrate with always a couple of good drinks, right? Chen just reminded me with that little smoke coming out.
And explosives. Can't forget.
And explosives. I did light my ass on fire once or twice. Maybe 3
Once
times.
or twice.
Maybe 3 times. Yeah. You get a little tipsy, you're having a
I've blown
little,
my hand
fireworks going off here and there.
Blown my hands off a few times.
You blow your hand? No, your fingers are still attached, bro.
Almost.
Almost. All right.
So,
Because my ass always want to do something stupid.
so when I first met my wife, my wife goes to me. She's like, "Oh, what do you do for 4th of July?" And I go buy explosives. And she's like, "What do you mean explosives?" And I go, "I mean explosives." Right. So I take her to Phantom Fireworks down in Key Largo, and I walk in. I show the VIP card, like literally because I still have it. It's in my wallet.
Right.
And she goes to me. She's like, "You have a VIP card to this place?" And I go, "Yeah, of course I do." And the owner still knows me, right? The owner of this one.
Right.
I walk in and I go, and he says his name is Tim. Tim goes, "Hey, this year you might want to take a little bit easy." And I go, "Why?" He's like, "Oh, because like if you're taking them back up north, the cops are gonna say something, right? They're gonna ask you if you're gonna take it up north, right?" So long story short, when the guy's finally done ringing me up, it's like $300 something but also it's like,
Oh, bro, you landed short from what
but
I
it's
did
also,
last time.
but hold on, it's also buy one get one free.
Exactly,
right?
that's
it's
why.
always buy one get one free. And Karina goes, so you mean to tell me we're gonna drive an hour back north with a whole shitload of explosives in our trunk? And
That's
I go,
exactly what Natalie
that's
told me.
exactly what we're doing.
Yep.
And she's like, "All right, we're gonna do this." And she had a blast. Literally, she had a blast, like helping me destroy them, which was great.
So I went down there with the wife the first time, and she had no idea what to expect. She had not gone to Phantom Fireworks, and I'm walking in there, and I already had an idea of what my budget was, but I didn't know what promotions they had. So I went a little bit over my budget due to the promotions they had rolling, but I gave her 3 hours worth of fireworks going off in the front lawn.
Oh, God.
Oh no,
Right.
my favorite is when the cops stop by and the cops are like, "Hey, you can't do that." And I'm like, "You want one? Let's go." And he's like, "All right, fine, fuck it, let's go."
Yeah, and then I even
Give
had
me a
some.
Roman candle.
Exactly. Why not, bro?
I even had some to spare, to last into New Year's Eve.
Ooh.
So I had fireworks hidden in the closet from my mother-in-law for almost 5 months. And then I go out, I take my brother-in-law's outside. I was like, "Yo, don't say anything. Let's just light them up. And let's let them start shooting. And once they start shooting, watch they all come running outside."
From a key safety feature, though, I highly recommend if you guys, if anybody out there are afraid of fireworks in any shape or fashion, I recommend using extended fuses. Every time you go to the fireworks shop, nobody ever buys them, but they're right next to the register.
They're right there.
You just ask for it, and they will sell
That way
it
you
to
can keep your fingers.
Exactly. And it gives you a couple extra seconds, and you can get away. That's all.
Yeah.
Simple.
But that kills the fun.
I mean, that also too.
I mean,
You gotta light it. You gotta move.
We have friends whose brother-in-law gave me fireworks from the year before. And I look at what he gave me. I was like, bro, where are the tubes? How am I going to shoot this with no tube? Oh, you'll figure it out.
Oh, you had like mortars without.
Mortars without the
I
actual
have
launcher.
mortars without tubes.
Oh.
That's horrible.
So what the hell am I going to do with mortars with no tubes?
Get some PVC
No.
pipe, bro.
And then I thought about that, but I was like, nah, I don't got time to go.
Work
further.
on your fastball and aim up. I don't know. What else are you
Damn.
gonna do?
I shot off one that had 25 rounds, and I let that one go off. And then when that was over, I was like, you know what? Let's let that one cool down. And then I'm going to test to see if I can fit those inside those tubes.
If you ever want to see something impressive, get yourself a Saturn missile battery. Saturn missile batteries are amazing. Why? Because it's literally just go pew, 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 literally one after the other.
I like another good one. If you guys are going to go to Phantom Fireworks, is Christmas in July.
Christmas in July.
Christmas in July.
Is it? It's all like green and red and
It's
stuff?
green, red, and then there's some white ones in there occasionally somewhere. But it's 25 rounds, and they don't shoot off too quick. So you have at least a good minute 20 seconds worth of fireworks just being shot up into the air.
I just want my fireworks to scream America as they're going
So
off.
my dad would send, because my dad lives down south, so he lives relatively close to Key Largo. He would send me and my brother-in-law or someone. He'd always give me the credit card and be like, "Go nuts."
Yeah.
And I would always be like a kid, like thinking, I don't get why he never would want to light the fireworks. He would always go pay for the fireworks and would bring them all back, and he would just sit there right in the front with his like little patio chair and just watch us do them. And me being a little pyromaniac would always be, super excited to light them all. And he'd just be, I think he had the right idea though, because he's just sitting there drinking beer and we're blowing our fingers off.
Yeah, somewhat the right idea.
Yeah. leave it to me and Hyro to
Oh,
get
man.
injured.
I don't know what you're talking about, man.
I've had some close encounters on the 4th of July. I gotta lie.
Mostly burns for me.
Mostly
Yeah.
burns. I
Burns.
did light my ass on fire, like I said, multiple times.
I've almost set cars on fire.
Or someone decided to shoot me with a Roman candle. That shit hurt, man.
I made my cousin shard himself once with a little M60.
Ooh.
I told him that was a firework. I told him that was a firework. I was going to start shooting off little sparkles. Yeah, and then he just waited for the thing to start shooting off sparkles, and then the thing blew up, and then he almost crapped himself. Yeah. But those are wonderful experiences that you build up over lifespan of blowing up fireworks on 4th of July, right?
Right.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, I remember breaking off you get the big pack of firecrackers.
Yeah,
And I remember breaking single ones off and just sitting there with a lighter and just like throwing them. Like light it and throw it and it'd pop in the middle of the air.
dude, M80s were the best.
M80s, M60s.
Because M80s are a classic. Like they're just a simple firework that doesn't make too much noise, but it's still fun and it's easy to get rid of, dude. Especially when they come in a strip. Like that's always fun.
All right, so what do we got next, Carlos?
Next one here on the list of beers, guys, is the traditional Samuel Adams Boston Lager. All right. Now, to me, a Boston Lager is a beer I can have in any sort of occasion. I take this thing to a family reunion. I take this thing to a camping trip. I can take this to your typical 4th of July barbecue. All right. I don't feel like this is a beer that I can't take anywhere. I feel like
This is, I would say, a step up.
a step up from the Yingling.
Yeah.
It's got a
Sam
little
Adams,
bit,
yeah.
little more class to it, I guess, if you will.
Well,
I don't know if
class. I don't know.
I don't know if class is the right word, but I would say a little bit more pizzazz, I guess is the word. Pizzazz.
Character. It's
Pizzazz.
got a little bit more character.
Yeah, you know what? There you go.
It definitely has a little bit more
yeah.
character. I do feel
A little
that
more attitude.
Yeah.
that little attitude right there, that aftertaste. Right.
Well, like for example, when I first tasted this, I thought it was off-putting because it gave me the same sense as IPA because it has that the hoppy
the hoppiness after
hoppy aftertaste,
Happy
if
hoppy?
you will. But afterwards, as the more you go along, you realize that it's not an IPA. It doesn't have that same body. It has that lager feel, but it has a little bit of extra hops in it just to give you that little vibe, so to speak.
Well, it's kind of like what they gave it as a description, right? The description that I found for the Boston Lager by Samuel Adams was very short. There wasn't much information about this beer other than what small plates or entries it really matched with, right? As far as the taste of it, it's a distinct balance of spicy hops and slightly sweet roasted malts. That's it.
You know,
Yeah,
They
it's
didn't give it
basic,
much of a description at all, right?
I don't think they need to. I think
They don't,
everyone's
yeah.
had one.
Everyone has had one by now.
Exactly.
I
It's
mean,
You
this is
know?
also like one of those beers that you were describing at the beginning of the podcast with the Yingling. This is definitely a beer that I think even as you've tasted your first beers, this is probably one of the ones you came across. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is definitely something that you have at any sort of occasion, not just the 4th of July. You can have this at a Christmas occasion. You can have this at Thanksgiving. You can have this at Halloween. You can have this whenever the hell whatever type of occasion you're at. Right?
and honestly, like the thing about, you know, for example, like Sam Adams as a brewery, they treat their employees really well. Like, you know, like you hear a lot of good things about their employees, like, you know, like how happy they are. And I mean, not only that, you get a free case of beer every week you go to work, which is pretty awesome.
That's always a plus.
You know, I mean, come on, who doesn't
Shit.
want to go to work and get free beer?
Oh,
But-
for sure.
But also, like they always are releasing like new recipes, like new flavors every summer. Like summer ale is, like we were talking about that a little bit
Yeah.
earlier. Summer ale is always a classic, and it's great. It's a great freaking beer.
Well,
There was,
you've been to the brewery.
Yes,
I have been. To the
You've
brewery.
been. Have
Same.
you been? Oh, so we've all been.
We've all been to the brewery,
Yeah.
and when I was up there last time, there was a beer that I really fell in love with, and it was an IPA. And when I read the description of this IPA, I was like, let me try that because that sounds like some sort of fruits that you typically won't find in Boston. And it was a mango guava IPA.
That's like
From
something you would get
Sam.
here.
from
That's like
Sam
something you
Adams.
would get here, and this is from Samuel Adams, and this is at the brewery. So I was like,
Interesting.
all right, I'll try the Guava Mango IPA. Let's see what you got. All right. And as I tried this Guava Mango IPA, I looked at my wife and I'm like, shit, I'm going to need to take a crowler of this back to Miami. But
That's weird for
Okay,
you
dang,
to say
that's-
too,
for real.
No,
because you
because-
don't usually like the fruity beer.
Yeah.
no,
Not at all.
but it wasn't a sour, which was the interesting part. It was an IPA,
Yeah.
right? And as I had this beer, I was like, shit, we only came with carry-on luggage. Oh shit, how am I gonna do this? So I had to figure out how the hell I was gonna. They broke my darn carry-on luggage bag because I had to check it in. The crowler made it here in one piece, but I was enjoying that beer for about
Next week.
next week after the trip. Yeah,
When you went, did you try a Red Brick? I think it's called. It's the one that they only have in Boston. Oh,
it sounds like I did. I did have one on my table that was called something brick. I don't remember if it was red.
that's
though.
probably.
Like I don't remember much.
I don't
I
remember
think-
much from that day.
Well, that's like me. That's like me when I went to Dublin. Like I tried to bring back Guinness, and the flight attendant, the person at the gate, he was like, "Oh, do you have any like liquids on you or stuff like that?" And I said, "Well, I have Guinness because, quote me on this, the Guinness in Ireland does not taste the same as the Guinness here.
Of
It's
course.
better over there." Now, and one day I'll tell you guys the story of how I got a Guinness slapped out of my hand by a bartender over there, but that's neither here nor there. Like the flight attendant goes to me, or the gate agent's like, "Yeah, you're gonna have to either drink it or get rid of it." And I said, "Shit, man! Like I really wanted to take this with me, so I ended up just freaking leaving it in the hotel because the reality is like there's no way I was gonna pump back 6 beers and still be able to function.
Says you.
Says
Well,
you.
8 just because I got
Wow,
the
six
gut.
back
That's
record.
a long flight. You don't need to function.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
You,
Oh, no,
you need
I
to
w-
knock out, bro.
I was intoxicated with other substances on that flight because you guys know I have that fear of flying. It's well known.
Okay. Yeah, best not to mix.
Best not to mix.
Indeed.
No cross contamination.
Is that your beer that you go on a trip and you have something you've never had before because you can't usually get it here? Is that the one for you?
From that trip, yeah, that was probably the one for me. Now, there's been other beers that I tasted like in New Orleans that I can't find here.
Mm.
There are similar beers that we find at your local Total Wine that have a very similar name, but it's not the same beer because it's not the same brewery.
Yeah.
But the names are almost identical from the beer that I had in New Orleans to the beer that I find here. You know, the one that we find here typically is It's called Voodoo something, but it's
Voodoo Ranger.
Voodoo Ranger, yeah.
But I don't think it's a Voodoo Ranger.
No.
It's the one. It's in a black can with a skeleton on the front. It just says Voodoo on it.
Mm.
And that one to me is not by the same brewery because the logo looks nothing like it, and the brewery name, I believe the Voodoo that I'm referring to, is made by the same company as Fat Tire, which is their next beer up, right? Which is New Belgium.
Oh yeah.
And that was something that you found in New Orleans.
That was in New Orleans.
Oh.
Now, the Mango Guava IPA specifically was from Samuel Adams. And, of course, by the time I was slightly tipsy, we had a couple of appetizers and everything. I sarcastically looked at the waiter and was like, all right, any way you can hook me up with a little bit of Utopia?
Utopia.
And he looked at me and he's like, nah, man. We only have those on special selection if you're buying a bottle.
For those of you who don't know, Utopias is a very, very hard to find, rare vintage of beer from Samuel Adams that we were actually talking about before the podcast started. It's what you would call, it's not even a carbonated beer, it's a flat beer, but it's supposedly a very unique taste. I've never had the distinct pleasure of tasting
neither
it,
have I, bro.
but it ranges anywhere from about $200 to $900 for a bottle. So yeah,
When I went to the brewery tour, the person doing it made sure to point out the barrels that they were aging it in.
of course, because they want you to buy it.
Yeah.
Because they want to sell it.
Well, the thing is, that was the year that they didn't even have it.
That's right, because it only comes out every
Yeah, it
other
doesn't
year.
come out every year. Yeah,
It only comes
you
out
can't
every
get
year.
it all the time.
So, is your mic on?
Nope.
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 Yeah, keep going.
There you go.
There
There
we
you
go.
go. There you go.
Hey,
Back,
there we
he's
go.
back.
You just got resurrected.
Damn.
All right.
So yes,
That's where the smoke was from. It was the mic.
Yo, that's what I'm
I mean, yeah, dude. Like, if you want to take a trip up to Boston, I mean, you know me, I'm the old Miami's largest Red Sox fan. So there you go.
Ooh.
Well, you're right. You're right.
No, it's okay.
I've seen you with every single colored jersey they have,
That's true. And shirt.
and shirt,
Yeah.
and caps.
Every
Wow.
year I tell my wife, she's like, "What do you want for Christmas?" And I say, "Well, Red Sox stuff." It's literally on my Christmas list every year. And when I say stuff, I mean whatever you want to buy me: socks,
Yeah,
underwear, shirts, jerseys. I don't
Well,
care.
that's how I am with
That's
the
a
Heat.
cheap gift, bro. I just buy you a little Red Sox keychain.
That's fine. You think I would?
Don't-
Has anyone has anyone ever gotten you red socks?
As a matter of fact, yes.
Damn.
So my cousin
Damn.
by marriage, his name is Alexander. Shout out to Alex. Congratulations on your baby. He, one year for Christmas, which was odd because he's a hardcore Yankees fan, for Christmas gave me the traditional pinstripe socks, like they're dress socks, but they actually look like the Boston Red Sox like pinstripe socks.
Mm.
And when I said that, I'm like, how hard was this for you to do this? And he goes to me, he's like, it wasn't my idea. It was my mom's, which is my aunt. And I go to him, I'm like, I appreciate your sacrifice. So every year for Christmas, when he comes down, I purposely wear the shorter, like capri pants or whatever that shit is. And I'm like, hey man, I really
Yeah.
love the gift that you got me.
Some people they don't like getting socks,
mean-
but
Damn.
these.
And he just whispers under his breath, fuck you.
Sounds like a Yankee fan.
I mean,
Rodrigo Garcia up there is shouting out to Utopia. Yeah, bro. I would love to be able to have that beer, but I have yet to try it.
Just send us a bottle.
I mean, if you have a hookup that we don't know about,
If you know,
We gladly would
Juan
accept.
Pepe que me lo puede pasar por abajo de la mesa.
exactly, bro. You just let us know. We'll make it happen.
Any other ideas about this beers, guys? I did have some food recommendations that go with it, as far as descriptions right off of their website. As far as small plates are recommended as a like appetizer or start up to a family reunion. Blue cheese, black beans, soup, bruschetta, Cobb salad. These are all small plates that this beer can match well with. As far as entries are involved, burgers, roasted or fried chicken, as well as burritos.
I just think when I'm drinking
Burrito.
this, I just think buffalo chicken wings with blue cheese,
What he said.
Yeah.
like sports
Well,
bar.
perfect. Because
Yeah.
blue cheese was
Bubbles.
like one of the first recommendations they had on here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
But-
that's depending on if you like blue cheese.
I stay away from blue cheese, bro. That blue cheese to me is a laxative.
See,
I
this
love-
is the
I
blue
love
cheese
it.
corner.
I love it. I love blue cheese.
You love blue cheese?
Yeah.
Yes, I do.
You're outnumbered, Carlos. Sorry.
I know I'm outnumbered on that one. I stick more to the smoked Gouda cheese family.
So wait, you're a ranch
Okay.
guy? You like ranch instead?
Yeah, I can probably do ranch.
So when they give you the choice for the wings, you always go for ranch.
Yeah, or I just go for barbecue sauce.
Wait, but hold on. What if you're eating buffalo wings? You're gonna dip buffalo wings in barbecue sauce?
Nah. Mm-mm.
I'll take a sacrifice.
Okay, I was about to say.
I'll take a sacrifice.
I was like, if you dip buffalo
Yeah,
wings
no.
in barbecue sauce
Yeah,
instead
it's
of
like, wait.
anything else,
No,
I'm like, you're a wild man, bro.
no.
Like, ooh, you wild.
You wild one for that one.
No. I feel like that would go wrong real quick.
Yeah, that definitely
Yeah.
sounds like a recipe for finding the toilet.
Yep. So I feel like the stomach sometimes just is like the gatekeeper, and he either rejects or he accepts. Right.
That's fair.
That's what we were talking about earlier.
Kind of like what we were talking about earlier, right? You like that reference?
Yeah.
All right. And if the stomach rejects, then you're in for either a quickie or you're in for an all-nighter. Yeah.
And there's nothing in between.
And there's nothing in between.
there's no between.
Yeah.
All in one rusher.
I mean, bro, if you get the bubble guts and that's it, bro. When
You
mud butt shows
get the bubble-
when mud butt shows its ugly head, bro, that's it. It's over. Your day is ruined.
Oh, man. Any other comments on this Boston Lager?
I just think caramel for some reason.
Is that like
'cause
an
it's so
aftertaste you're feeling?
malty.
It is very malty.
It is
I'm gonna
malty.
say that.
un
Yeah.
caramelo. Yeah.
Yeah, it is malty. It is definitely
Did you
malty.
just compare it to a caramello, like the candy bar?
No, I think
No,
he's like
it's in
caramelo
Spanish.
is in Spanish.
Caramel,
just said it in
caramel is caramelo in
I
Spanish.
just-
I know, but like
No, we're just confirming.
no, not Carmelo.
In case you didn't get.
caramelo.
Carmelo Anthony. No, not mellow. You gotta say it right, mellow.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Mellow.
Mellow.
All right, guys. I think I'm ready for a fat tire.
Yeah, me too.
I'm ready to retire.
Me too.
I'm ready to retire this Boston Lager. Not
I'll
that
come
I
back
have.
to it later.
I'll finish it up after the episode, but I'm ready for this whole different ballgame
yeah.
of beer.
Fat Tire is one of the classics, man.
I think a fat tire also blends in well with any occasion. And these aren't twist offs, right?
I don't think so.
Do
Can't
not
be that
think
easy.
so.
Nope. Negative. Not a twist.
Absolutely not.
That's fine. We got openers for that too. I didn't bring no fancy beer this time that had a freaking wine cap on it.
Yeah.
You know, we had that experience in one of the
I was like,
episodes.
wait a minute.
So
Any
That
cork
was a surprise for
bottles
us.
yet?
yeah, that's what we're referring
Yeah.
to.
Ah,
Oh, speaking of cork bottles, in my fridge currently, I do have a bottle of Le Fin du Monde.
I love Le Fin du Monde.
Le Fin du Monde.
That is also a beer that I have tasted.
So if you ever want to try it, you just let me know. It's actually readily available at Trader Joe's now.
Also regularly available at Total Wine.
Yes.
Yeah.
One of the wonderful experiences during our good old 2020 pandemic.
Oh yes.
Le Fin du Monde.
Yeah.
I mean, what was surprising about the pandemic when we were all at home is the amount of like, I think it was alcohol sales went up in the United States. Like I think it was like 20%
Only?
within the first like 2 months of
Yeah,
the
bro.
pandemic. You know, I think it was for my birthday. My wife goes to me. She's like, "Well, since we're stuck at home, what do you want to do?" And I said, "Well, I mean, I love Samurai, so I'm like, all right, let's get Samurai." And then we go to Total Wine, and we get, I think it was a 6-pack of Kentucky Bourbon Barrel Ale. No, 4-pack because it only comes in 4.
Yeah,
Only
only fours.
well, unless you get a 6-pack of cans.
And then we got a 4-pack of
Mhm.
that, and then in gin, and we killed a whole bottle of gin within like 2 weeks, like because we slow sip. But still, like that bottle of Kentucky bourbon, the bourbon barrel ale, I killed it in like in a couple days. But pretty much like I drank more during the pandemic than I ever did before. And then when the pandemic ended, we went back to work, like in regular work.
Right.
My drinking pretty much just went completely almost
Went
non-existent.
back down.
Completely
it
non-existent.
feels like I was the opposite.
Really.
Yeah.
You were
so
more
drank
chillaxed
less?
than Eddie's at the house, and then when you went back to work, you reintroduced the alcohol?
Yeah. I mean, I'm a, beer with lunch kind of guy.
Yes.
No, of course.
We know.
So,
I mean, but I was
As- yeah.
I
As
was
we
a
know.
beer by 9:30 when I was working at the house.
Oh yeah, I remember
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
You
I
know,
remember that we had a Zoom meeting one day, and Carlos just like with no shame, just goes like this, and he's got a pint glass, and I go, I'm like, are you freaking drinking at 10 o'clock in the morning? And he texts me back, and he says, "Fuck yeah, bro." And then
Probably been up since 6. Yeah.
yeah.
and then
Yeah,
and then
more or less.
our boss sees it, and literally our boss does this, and he literally tries to like play it off by going off camera like this. Just
Oh,
sticks his
I
head out,
remember that.
and then goes like this.
I mean, we all saw that. We
And
were
then-
all cracking the
And
hell
we
up.
all
And we're like,
proceeded
hey,
to rib him.
Yeah.
You know,
We all
Guy.
decided to like rip into him, and he's like, "What? What do you mean? What do you mean?" I'm like, "Dude, we saw that fucking
Yeah.
Bud Light. We saw that Bud Light, bro. Don't try to hide that."
Hey,
Oh,
you know,
man.
if it
Everyone
was
has what
if
they
it was a
have to do.
flat tire, we would have let him slide. But
No, dude,
yeah.
it was something.
it was a freaking Bud Light.
it was
for
yeah.
sure was.
I'm pretty sure it was.
And
Hey,
if he's
man.
listening, you know what you did.
Yeah, you know. Yeah, if
You
you're
know
listening,
exactly
you know
what
who
you
we're
did.
talking about.
But still, anyways,
Fat Tire, Amber Ale. I actually think I would probably go for this before the Boston Lager.
Oh yeah.
I feel this is a whole lot smoother.
so for sure, out of all the beers that we've tasted, I'm always gonna go with Fat Tire. I think.
Same.
I mean, when we've eaten together at lunch, you know for sure I drink this on a regular basis, right?
Right.
Me who likes dark beers, like I like beers like pretty much amber and above. This is always going to be a go-to beer for me, right? New Belgium is a great brewery, really, 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 really good quality beer, right? Nothing is ever feels like it's half-assed done. Even the design of the bottles, like smooth, ergonomic. Like, you know, if you feel like if you want to get that super,
Dang, ergonomic. Now we're like talking about cars over here.
Yeah.
But
It's like,
I mean,
we're
but
gonna be
even-
launching. This is for like launching it
I'm
at some
not
point.
gonna
I
say
guess.
ergonomic. You know what? I'm gonna take it back. I'm not gonna say ergonomic. It's just comfortable to hold. Like it doesn't feel like it's gonna like slip out of your hand.
It is.
Like-
I never noticed that. It is a little bit different.
Right. So the other
It
thing
just
that I
feels
like,
different.
the other thing that I like about it is, you know, their actual advertising is not super in your face.
No.
It's literally two colors.
Again, I guess that depends on what beer from them
Chris.
Right.
you're going for, right? Because they
Yes.
have other logos of other types of beers that, in comparison to some beers out there, yes, they're not like you say, they're not as, you know, quad colored, tri-colored. They're simple,
Right.
but they're still slightly more than just two tones, right?
The thing about it is also like, you know, for example, I mean, if speaking of America, you know, red, white, and blue.
Yeah.
red, white, and blue.
Red, white, and
There you
blue.
go.
America.
Yeah.
America.
Yingling is the odd man out in that respect.
I mean,
With the
Other
color,
than
with the
other than
color.
his traditional history.
Yeah.
With the color part of it, yes, he is the odd man out in tonight's podcast. But other than its colors, its history of Yingling's been around forever.
yeah,
It is one of our oldest breweries.
I'm pretty sure it's the oldest.
oldest
Yeah.
brewery in the United States.
Yeah.
oldest
it
brewery
is
in the
the
United
oldest.
States.
Well, also, Yingling doesn't do many special editions, but I remember a couple of years ago they did the Hershey Stout.
Yeah.
I never got
but they
to
did
try
that
it.
twice.
They did that
They
twice.
did that last year also.
Mhm.
I never got
So
to try
I'm
it.
really curious, is their Hershey Stout maybe a seasonal now due to its popularity picking up?
If that's the case, I mean, we definitely need to, you know,
And,
Get
that,
in
that'll
on
probably
that.
launch somewhere this fall into winter, where it'd probably be that Hershey Stout type of beer. I tried it. I think the Uncle Fluffernutter that we had recently was probably better. But again, I would have to retaste
So
the
that,
Hershey.
that one, you really liking that?
You know-
Uncle Fluffernutter, Pop.
So,
I mean, the name.
But if
The
we're
name.
comparing, the
That is
name-
a name.
that
was
is a
a-
very unique name.
and it was a hell of a beer, let me tell you. I gave that beer freaking, was it a 4.75? I think. it was.
Yeah, you gave it a really high number.
Yeah.
All of these beers, guys, that we've tasted so far tonight, if I had to rate them into a number scenario, from 1 to 5, or from 0.25 to 5, because 0.25 is as low as you can go. All of these I have rated somewhere between a 3.75 and a 4. I don't think that none of these are bad beers. They're all pretty decent beers, especially if you're looking down to simplicity and availability with family comfort, or friends and family comfort with knowing and recognizing the beer for whatever dish or platter you may have on the table. All three of these beers blend in relatively well.
Yeah.
As far as the description for Fat Tire, we didn't get to because we just started drinking and talking about it.
It's that
Fat
good.
Tire
That's
is-
just
It's that good.
Yeah,
I
it
think
was
that's
that good.
what it
It's
is.
that good. We just went straight to it.
Yeah.
Fat Tire's unique flavor profile originates from the 1930s in Belgium. During the era of small breweries, Belgium offering easy drinking beer crafted by signature Belgian yeast in order to satisfy the taste of visiting British soldiers. Today's Fat Tire delivers drinkers everywhere the flavorful balanced beer with a fresh herbal hop profile, fine malt presence, and the touch of a fruity yeast, making it a timeless beer with a broad appeal. Not bread. Broad appeal.
Okay.
For bread appear.
Bread appeal.
Getting hungry?
Broad appeal.
Broad appeal.
Make sure it's not a fighter.
I mean, one other small thing that I just noticed on the label, carbon neutral certified. So, respect. So good beer, and they're trying to save the planet. Respect.
Okay.
So,
Well, Chris, it's got the bike. The bike for me and you. That's perfect. Chris and I don't know how to ride a bike.
no, we do not. Yeah, so that's a fun fact
Yeah.
to the audience. Me and Casey were having a heart-to-heart during lunch one day, and because some of you might not know, but during my wedding or before my wedding, Casey was largely responsible for me losing a good 18 pounds just to fit into my wedding tux, and I mean so much so he made me spit out a pastelito, which was
Oh, yeah.
No.
It was
It's in the
a
front.
week after he told me. He goes, bro, we go on lunch together. You see me eating the wrong thing, you just stop me.
right.
And I see him come in, puts a pastelito in his mouth, and I go, Chris,
Spit that shit out.
spit it out. And he goes, what? I already had
Was
a
it
bite.
guava?
He's talking to me.
De carne.
He's
Ooh.
talking to me with a bite in his mouth. And he goes, oh, I just took a bite. I don't care. Spit it out.
And
Damn.
so the funniest thing that he did, I know we're going off a little off topic, but the funniest thing that he did during that experience is we, for whatever reason that day, didn't have lunch together. And I get to the bar and Mike, our usual bartender, is there. And I go, Mike, let me get a burger and fries. And he looks at me dead in the face and says, Chris, I am so sorry. I cannot give you that per Casey's orders.
Ooh.
And I go, okay,
Oh, I don't think I've heard this part.
you did, because you told them this. And he goes, well, Chris, I can serve you anything off of the Enlightened menu. And I go, okay, sure. And I wasn't even mad. I wasn't mad at all. I was having a hell of a day. And I had such a good laugh from that. And I'm like, you know what? So much so that in my, and I never showed you this, but I'll show it to you one day. In my wedding speech, there was a small part and should I wonder if I should write Casey in because he was responsible for me losing this 18 pounds. I mean, mostly responsible because we ate lunch together so
Right.
often, but he held me in check.
You take all of the credit.
Thank
first of all.
Thank you, sir.
I don't take any of the credit.
And then one day we're just sitting there talking, and I'm like, you know what? He's like, oh, Chris, what do you do for exercise? I'm like, oh, I go walking and stuff. He's like, well, why don't you ride a bike? And I'm like, I don't know how to ride a bike. And he looks at me and he says, neither do I. And I'm like, so I don't feel alone. I don't feel alone in that aspect.
Yeah. It's not. It's weird because it's not as uncommon as you would think. Especially here in Miami, you ride a bike and you'll get run over.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
Well,
I don't know how many
Bro,
times.
That's
I
number
would
one.
not ride a bike here in Miami.
Yeah.
I mean, me, it's more of like,
I
that's a-
have a bike at the house, and I can tell you that I literally put that thing on the back of the car on a bike rack, and we go to a Shark Valley over in Everglades National Park, or I go somewhere where there isn't vehicles driving on the road because I don't feel like getting smacked by a car.
I mean, me, here's my excuse, and it may sound like atypical, but whatever. I didn't grow up with a dad, and my mom was always working, and it was just my grandma raising us. So it's like it just never got around to doing it.
Well, mine's similar. My dad had to teach my older brother how to ride a bike. He went to teach me, got frustrated after 5 minutes. He goes, I taught your older brother, have your older brother teach you.
Let me guess, that never happened.
And that just never happened.
Got it.
Hold on. Natty just said something. He says, Casey, I need you in my lunch and dinner time.
What?
Because you hold people in check. Natty,
okay.
let me let you know, is that he...
Oh, that's your wife.
my
It was
wife,
a
bro.
different Natalie.
Natty,
Okay, never
let me
mind.
let you know, you're making a serious commitment because he takes it really serious.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, if you want that kind of motivation, he can do it. Just saying.
All right.
I don't know if I can make you stop drinking beer though. That's just
Yeah.
But you know what's funny? What's funny is
make me
that
stop.
all of doing what I did for those I think it was 4.5 months that we did that. Because of that, when I went to Ireland, I was able to drink beer like a fucking animal, dude. I was over there, there was one night I think I did. This was the 2 nights before our wedding because when everybody had finally landed and gotten there, got
You were
together,
probably pissing like an animal too.
dude, I had 8 pints. 8 pints. I was pounding them back like crazy. And I started to finally feel the booze. And like in Ireland, when you go to a pub, you don't order at a table. You order at the bar, and they bring you your food, right?
Bring it to the table.
And I go to the bartender, the pub owner, and he goes to me, he's like, "Laddie, you haven't eaten." And I go, "You know what? You're right." I'm like, "What do you got?" And he goes, "I can get you a burger and fries, laddie." I go, "Okay, let's do this shit." And he brings me the best fucking burger I've ever had in my life.
Well, eight pints in.
Any
burger
burger
at that point probably
Any
tasted great.
burger, any fucking burger was like, and Karina goes like, "Babe, how many beers have you had?" And I go, "I lost fucking count. I lost fucking count at that point."
It's
But
kinda
did
like
you,
what happened
did
with
you
Unholy.
actually know?
I'll put it to you this way. When I saw the bill, which wasn't that bad, funny enough, like I think I don't know how much we drank exactly. The bill was like 150 euro, I think, at the end of it, like between like all the drinks and food and shit that we had. But realistically, dude, my best guess, because a pint over there is like €6, €5. Like it's nothing crazy, right?
Okay.
I think I must have had
It's
at
not
least
like a pint here that I got to pay $11 for.
by the end of the night, and this is
And
why
for
I
less.
tell you, that the beer over there is not the same as the beer over here. Is I think I must have had 12, 13 pints for sure in one night. I was pissing like a maniac, that's for sure. And mind you, also just for footnote,
I would have
for
been baptizing trees in the yard like a dog at that point.
dude, just letting you know, like in Ireland, let me tell you, everything is spread apart, especially when you're in the countryside. There's no fucking roadside. There's no gas stations, none of that until you get to a freaking town.
That's my.
So
type
I
of
don't know how I
lifestyle.
survived that night, but it was fun.
So does this mean you own half of Ireland because you pissed all over it? Like what do you
I would say that I peed all over it. I would say that I remember a lot of things from that night, and some things. Okay. Here, fun story from that night actually. So my wedding party was, let's see, I had 3 people in my wedding party, right? And that night, for whatever reason, I got so drunk, and I mean seriously so drunk, that a friend came with us on this trip, right? And I
Mhm.
said, "What color suit you wearing for the wedding?" And he goes, "Navy blue." I'm like, "Motherfucker, you're gonna stand up there with me. Let's go." And I invited somebody to be in my groomsmen party. Long story short, he's
Wow.
he's a good guy. His name is Kike. But still, like, fun story. I actually went to high school with him, and I didn't even know it, like, at that time. But he wasn't a rando or anything like that. I'd hung out with him a bunch of times. But like, my wife's like, "Did you just invite somebody to be your groomsman that you know but you don't know very well?" And I go, "Fuck yeah, why not?" And sure enough, when I wake up in the morning, she reminds me of that shit. I'm like, "Did I really do that?" And she's like, "Yeah, you totally did." And I said, "Fuck, did I get that drunk?" So long
Yeah.
story short, before your wedding, guys, do not get that fucked up.
I've been fucked up, but I haven't done some crazy shit like that. I've definitely gone to baptize the fence. I've dumped my head in the pool. I pissed on the fence after I threw up on the fence.
Mm.
Yeah.
For me, apparently, I like to take over bars and have
You
it
took
become
over the
my.
bar at my house one night. I
Well, that's
remember.
Golden Monkey's fault, though.
That's Golden Monkey's fault. They'll be on
What,
a
like
future
you being the
episode.
bartender?
Okay, so
Yeah.
every house
done
party
that
that he's
multiple
had that I come over for, or that we get invited to, whatever, when I get drunk, which I always get drunk when we hang out, right? I decide to take over the bar, and I don't let anybody else serve drinks except me.
I
Like-
remember this.
The last time that this happened, I barked at somebody. I clearly remember just barking at them. And Karina goes to me, "What the fuck did you just do? Why did you just bark at that guy?" And I go, "He was trying to serve a drink. I told him to hold on. I was going to serve him his drink now." She's like, "Babe, this is not your bar." And I go, "Well, right fucking now it is."
Gosh.
I remember that night, bro. I remember that night like it was yesterday. Switching topics here a little bit. Going back to the 4th of July scenario, right? 4th of July, I think about beers, I think about the fireworks. But to accompany those two, the best type of food you can go for the 4th of July,
Oh,
good old barbecue.
well, yeah.
So when you think about your typical 4th of July barbecue platter, what do you really think about for the 4th of July as far as America is involved, right? That's-
Okay. All right.
when we go into that type of conversation, I feel like if I go to someone's house and they're doing a barbecue and they are doing it on a gas grill, I'm like, whatever. Because I'm going to eat it
You're like,
either way
whatever.
because I'm hungry. But, if you really think about a barbecue coming off of Weber, popping that lid open, got the fireworks blasting in the back on a 4th of July, the only shit that really comes to my head right off the bat like that is like hot dogs and burgers.
Yeah.
Okay. Like,
Love me a hot dog.
Aye.
Hey, shut up.
So this is America, right? So in America, we like the most American shit you could possibly find. Duh, right? So hot dogs and burgers, that's a classic. Now, if you really want to take it up a notch, and you really want to be sexy, right?
Chorizo.
Oy,
Chorizo.
loca. It is baby back ribs.
Mm.
Now,
Well,
in stereotypically,
that takes a
Baby-
whole lot more work.
it does take a lot
And
more work.
lot more dedication.
But let me tell you something, right? If I go to somebody's 4th of July party and I'm making fucking baby back ribs or I'm having baby back ribs, I'm going to respect the shit out of that person or a brisket. One of those two. If
Okay.
somebody went through
I
the
can respect
actual
that.
effort to
To
make
do a
something
real
like
barbecue
that,
platter? Oh, okay.
that is something that you will treasure forever. So let me tell you, when I finally get a bigger house and I host a barbecue party, if you see hot dogs and hamburgers, you should worry about Chris. You should worry and say,
trust me, I know
Maybe because you
what
got the
type of
bigger
foods
house.
you
That's-
cook, and I would definitely worry on if you only made hot dogs and burgers.
now, if I went through the trouble of making, 12, 13-hour brisket or even baby backs, which 3 or 4 hours at most,
Okay.
still, if I go to if I want to go to a barbecue, that's what I'm hoping for. It's not what I'm expecting. I'm expecting
It's
hot dogs.
definitely
and
not
hamburgers.
what I would be expecting for
Right,
the
but it's
4th of
what
July
I'm
party.
hoping for.
That's definitely
Mm.
something I would consider for sure on my plate if there is the option. Would I be an asshole and critique you 100% that bad? Probably not, because I'm here visiting. But if you give me some rock hard ribs, I'm gonna be a little disappointed.
Oy, you said
Yeah.
rock hard. Oy, loca.
Okay.
All right. But going back to the basics, right? Your traditional hot dogs and burgers, right? You can get a little fancy with your hot dogs and burgers. You can
Yes, you
make
can.
burgers with bacon bits already in the meat, chunks of cheese with bacon bits already in the meat.
Mhm.
You can go simple cheeseburgers. You can cut a circle in the center of your cheeseburger and put an egg on the inside and just fry it. So now you got a fried egg inside the center of your cheeseburger.
Interesting.
Yeah, these are all little ideas you can put into the equation. And then when you want to look at your hot dog, you want to make the hot dog look a little fancier. Yeah, you can either cut it straight down center so it splits open as you cook it. You can cut its ends so you got a little ninja star at both sides of the
Yep.
head and the butt. Yeah. You can do a spiral cut all the way around the hot dog, and have that thing open up in multiple strips.
Yep.
As after
Man, you're trying to be fancy. Damn.
yeah, you're trying to be fancy,
Well,
bro. It's
Damn.
these are all ideas that you can implement into your hot dogs and burgers. All right, you don't gotta just throw the darn open up the pack, throw the hot dogs on there, just throw the burger patties and leave it as it is. Nah, you can get a little creative.
I guess.
Yeah.
The pack doesn't come with Michael Jordan cooking them?
No.
No, yeah, no.
Nah,
No.
nah,
Mm.
nah.
I mean,
It doesn't have a heat logo on it neither.
no, it does. It
No.
does not.
No.
I mean, for me, what's a really good substitute if you don't want to do hot dogs during 4th of July? You can do for example, a bratwurst, or you can do an
Bratwurst is
Italian
one I always-
sausage, sweet Italian sausage.
Sweet Italian sausage in
Oh.
a smoker.
Hell yeah, dude.
Hell yeah. And then you chop that thing up in pieces. That is definitely a starter that I would put on the table right there. Load them up with little, toothpicks. Ready to roll.
Hell yeah.
Now I'm hungry.
I know. Now I'm
Yes.
super
Yeah.
freaking hungry.
Yeah, I'm starving.
Oh, man.
It'll be 4th
Yeah,
of
any
July
other
now.
crazy questions up there?
He hate me. Apparently, he's talking. Oh, and he called me a fat
Best
guy.
beer to
I
roast
love
chicken.
you too. He called me a fat guy.
But like,
Best beer to roast,
Roast chicken. Okay, that's actually a really, really good question. Has anybody ever done beer can chicken before?
Yeah.
I've seen it. I
Okay.
haven't tried it.
So beer can chicken is exactly what it sounds like. I mean, you do a whole
You
roast
shove
chicken
the-
on the barbecue and you shove the damn can open. There,
Up the chicken's rear
You
hind.
gotta
yeah.
you gotta
Yep.
drink half of it first, otherwise it doesn't taste
yeah,
as
that's
good.
actually in the recipe.
Yeah. The chef must drink half the beer.
So the best beer to roast the chicken. I mean, I did it with what's the one? That wasn't a Lang Shark. It was it a Yingling? Yes, it was a Yingling. So it was just a Yingling from the can. Literally, what you do is you chug half of it, leave the other half. So when you cook it, the yeast and the malts that are in the beer begin to boil and soak into the meat of the chicken internally, right? Now, mind you, when you're going to cook this chicken, It's got to be vertical, so it's a freaking pain in the ass. You need to make sure you have a high,
Literally.
like a high lid grill. You have literally have to have a high lid grill to pull it off. And on top of that, you have to make sure you season the living shit out of the top. Because
Right,
like
because the beer is really concentrated on the internals, the insides, and the bottom. Right. The only thing you left open on that can is just the top, unless you're going to tell me you stabbed holes inside.
okay, so no, it's just literally I left the lid open.
Okay.
I just crank the lid.
Here's another thing that I've seen that you can try is you can get a small thin knife,
Mhm.
and you want to make holes on the top half of the can, around the can of the portion you already drank. So as the fumes start going up, they're not just coming from the top of the can; they're coming out from the surrounding holes
Right.
into the lower parts of the meat as well.
I can tell you that it's one of the best roast chickens that I've ever made.
Yeah,
You know,
it is
so-
really
Yeah.
good.
The actual, like, you don't get an alcohol aftertaste, none of
No,
that.
no.
Like,
Right.
but what you get, I mean, forgive the word because I know this word makes a lot of people uncomfortable, is moist. You get a very moist chicken, right? And
He's right.
oh, there you go. Speaking of moist, so if you guys ever want to learn how to make that, you just holler at me at the Wrong Kennedy, and I'll tell you how to do that. Cool.
At the Rock Kennedy.
Yeah, I've had it with Yingling and with Modelo. Both good.
Oh yeah, Modelo's always a good
Modelo
beverage.
Especial.
Yes,
Yeah.
Modelo.
Let's clarify which one it is. It's not Modelo Negro.
Yeah.
No, you don't want to do
Or
yeah.
me, which is Modelo Blanco.
You know, bro, now that you say that comical humor, I'm going to do an episode with Modelo Blanco, Modelo Negro, Corona, and Corona Familiar.
Oh, yes,
Corona
yes.
Familiar.
Corona Familiar, which now we're comparing both Modelo, light and dark, to Corona, light and dark.
Which it's all the same company.
Well, yeah.
Which is all the same mother company, which is
Yeah.
ironic. Oh, so they're probably the same damn beers, just different names.
I
Slightly
mean-
different flavors. But any else special toppings or anything you would add on to these 4th of July burgers?
So, my favorite thing, if you guys ever if you ever ask Karina, I'm actually a really, really good cook. You guys have had some of my cooking. Mine is Casey. One day you will. Have you had my cooking?
Yeah, when you barbecued at the store.
Well, that was different. Like
Eminem.
something that I actually made at my home, right? I actually make really, really good sauteed onions and mushrooms, peppers, things like that.
Okay.
Like I caramelize them with butter, a little red wine. Pretty much like I put it on like almost every burger that I make for my friends or for my wife. It's actually delicious. If you like onions and mushrooms, like especially caramelized, they taste amazing on hot dogs, right? Or sausages in general. If you're gonna make a bratwurst, if you ever go that route, obviously you boil them in beer.
I was gonna
That's
get
the-
a
that's the standard.
little creative on you, and I was gonna say, you know what? Let me do a sweet Italian sausage, smoke it, cut it horizontally, so long cut. Then I'm gonna stack that on top of the burger.
Ooh,
Okay.
All right.
Mm.
Before I put in some smoked
Oh.
bacon on top of that.
ooh.
All right. Now I have
This
it
is-
fully
thi-
loaded.
This is the plate that the person manning the barbecue all day, that's what they make them.
That's what they
That's
deserve.
damn right.
That's-
That's what
and
they
yeah.
deserve.
Yep.
You energize
After
yourself.
I
That's-
sweated
there you
my
go.
ass off there for 14 hours. Yeah,
Yeah.
damn right. Yeah, I remember that day.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I remember we both almost died of heat stroke.
My
Yeah,
eyeballs were swollen like cartoon animation.
The funniest
by
part of
4
that
in the
day.
afternoon.
The funniest part of that day
Yeah.
is us looking at our bosses and just saying, flat out, by the way, we both work tomorrow. We will not be coming to work tomorrow.
Negative.
And our boss looked at us like this with a straight face and says, "Understood, sir. Done." I mean, we
Keep-
barbecued. We
Keep
barbecued,
Job
up the
well
good
done.
work.
Yeah.
I was burned out, bro.
dude. I slept the whole day the next day. Like that was just intense. 14 hours of barbecuing.
Oh man. Any other comments for this good old wonderful 4th of July coming up around the corner? Let's see if we have any other crazy comments up here that we can ignore or we can proceed with commenting on.
Hold on. Rachel Rocks says,
Oh,
"Fuck, Mary, kill."
I was gonna ask this
Yingling,
earlier.
Sam Adams, or Fat
I forgot
Tire.
about this.
Who wants to go
Ooh.
first on this
Oh,
one?
I know mine.
Go, Casey. Go.
Sam Adams, I'm sorry, you're done.
Okay.
Ooh.
I'm killing you.
Okay.
Okay.
Fucking Yingling, marry Fat Tire.
Damn.
Nah, see, I would marry Yingling. Fuck Sam Adams.
Kill Fat
I'm gonna
Tire.
kill Fat Tire. Just to make it a little different.
Carlos.
You just want to kill my.
Just kill everything you believe. Everything you believe in.
I'm sorry to say it, but I think I'm gonna kill Sam Adams.
Oh,
There we go.
I love some of their other beers. Don't take that wrong. I love some of Sam Adams' other beers, but Boston Lager has never been high on my plate. It's a great beer, but I wouldn't buy it for myself. I would probably fuck Yingling and marry Fat Tire.
All right.
That's the answer.
So here, I would definitely say, I know I'm about to go a little bit different, I guess, if you will. I would kill Yingling. I would kill Yingling just because out of all the beers, it's definitely always on my lower tier, but it's not a bad beer. It's just on my lower tier. I would definitely fuck Fat Tire and marry Sam Adams.
You would marry Sam Adams.
Okay, all right, hold on. Let me defend myself. All right. So why do I say that? I say that simply because out of all the beers, yes, Sam Adams is probably like the median, the middle of the pack, right? But if you really think about it, of breweries, like I'm solely basing this decision on the quality of the brewery and the respect that I have for them. I would definitely marry Sam Adams because I like the products that they put out. There's always good quality.
Well, if you're gonna put it that
consistent.
way, if you put it that way, I wouldn't kill him. But we're talking specifically about the Boston.
Hey,
Lager.
you got to kill someone.
Oh, we're talking about specifically the Boston Lager. I thought we were talking about the breweries in general.
No.
Never mind.
No, bro. We're talking specifically about the beer we had here.
All right,
Tonight.
hold on. Then definitely. Let's see. I would kill Yingling and then fuck Sam Adams, and marry Fat Tire.
All right, so we all pretty much landed on marrying Fat Tire.
No, no, I married Yingling.
You married Yingling, and you did what to Fat Tire?
I killed it.
You killed Fat Tire. Damn, you went the opposite direction. All right.
I mean, he just wanted to be different, bro. It was different.
I mean, there's always one different one in the group. That's fine. That's why we all here. We all have different opinions. All right.
No matter how wrong they may be.
Indeed.
All right. Whoever this is.
I don't know who that is.
I don't know who this is. I feel like him and the other one are teamed up, or she or in the other
Rachel is our number one fan.
Well, Rachel Rocks, I think I don't know who that is specifically, but I think it sounds familiar.
Interesting. We got to dig deeper and find out who these are.
Yeah. Well, he hate me.
Rachel Rocks is one of my friends.
Oh, there you go.
Okay, that's what I thought.
So you know who that is. All right.
Wait,
yes.
Isn't she friends with De Jesus?
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Yep, I know who it is. Hey, how are you? We've only met once. How old is the white guy?
He's 19.
Which, if only.
But his mind
So
is
here's
old.
my question. He hate me. How old are you? How old are you, sir? Exactly. What?
All right.
Exactly. Getting loud with me and shit.
I will be 34 a week from today.
He's so honest. You should have lied. You should have told me you were 40. Just to blow his fucking mind.
I think 34 is already blowing their mind enough.
Well, I'm 36, so you know.
Yeah, you don't have the baby face that
love
I
you
do,
guys. We don't know who you are, but we love you too. Thank you for being on our comments, as strange as they were, but we appreciate you.
Whoever this is, though, I definitely would say, as far as the comments tonight, I'll classify you as the CPA of tonight's comment chat.
There you go. CPA.
All right. I guess that's it for tonight's Outdoors Brews and Barbecue, guys. Thanks for coming in, celebrating the pre-podcast of the 4th of July of 2022.
Yep.
Y'all stay safe out there. Don't blow your asses off. And enjoy your 4th of July and the beers that you accompany it with.
Thank you for having me, man.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Okay, so
First time, not the last time.
First time and not the last time. I'll have you in for the Modelo episode.
Yeah.
I know it's your favorite beer.
It's my gotta have it in the fridge.
Gotta have it in the fridge. Got it. Modelo.
Gotta have my Modelos.
Modelos.
Quiero una
especial
cerveza, por favor.
for KC. All right. Alrighty, guys. That's it for today. Until the next round.
Have a good one, guys.
Later.
Peace.